Good morning, everybody. I think we're going to reclaim soon, so I just want to show you how to play it. We did not sweep out the lows. We got really close, but I think I know what's going to happen anyway. So unless I'm wrong about this and we come back and tag these, that's always a possibility, but I don't think so. I think we're going to engulf this morning. You can take a scalp long above 7,450. You take that right back to about 7,500. Okay, but you need to see it recover that pre-market resistance, and we haven't done that yet. So above 7,450, you got like a 40-point scalp higher. Now, if you want a true reversal, you need to reclaim 7,520s. We haven't done that yet, but here's what I think is going to happen on the big time frame. Once we reclaim 7,520s, I think we're in for a big pop. Same as I've been saying all week, no matter how much drama we go through, it doesn't change what it is. It's just drama, okay? But I think all these crappy lows that we're leaving behind, I think what's going to happen is when we pop, I don't think the higher low is going to hold after we hit our bull target. So originally what I was thinking is we're going to come down to our bull target, hold a higher low, and then push. I don't think so. If we leave these lows behind, it's probably going to turn into a big broadening wedge and kind of be like this sort of thing. I did not take my time with this drawing. But hopefully you can kind of visualize what I'm talking about if you were able to draw this out and use a little bit more artistic interpretation than I did. So once again, look for a low time frame reclaim, not a low time frame reclaim, but push above pre-market resistance to back test this 7,500 area, or at least 7,485. Okay, you need 7,520 to pop. Okay, what I did was I've sold out of some things like NUE, and I know NUE kept going, but it is what it is. I sold out of AMD. Now, these are just the trades. These aren't the high time frame. I have high time frame shares. So just know that I'm always talking about high time frame portfolio and low time frame trades. But I sold out of the low time frame trades. I also am looking at things like Riot to get back in for, and I trimmed, but I'm not out of that. I'm still in that trade, but I trimmed it. And I'm looking for a third bullet at Mara. I'm still long. I'll just go through each of these tickers one by one with the charts. But anyway, first thing you have to do is 7,520. Then I do believe we're going to sweep all of these lows out, just like as described. The only way I will change this opinion is if we reclaim here and we hold a higher low right here, directly right here, and then make a new high. If we do that, then I'm just wrong. And I'll be able to adjust in real time. But for now, I think we're going to do that soon. So it's worth paying attention to. Mara's having a down day. It doesn't really matter. Okay, don't get me wrong, it matters. If you're sitting along leverage or you're unhappy or you're fully allocated, it matters to you, but I'm not. I am still in the same trade that I put in at 10, that I put in at 12, and I'm waiting for a third bullet to put into. I don't think Mara's ready. I think it's going to twist on the vine a little bit more. Okay, so no Mara yet, but Mara soon. Again, I am waiting for Riot first. Let's see how Riot's doing. Yeah, I think Riot's going to bounce here immediately. What I'm planning on doing, guys, is I'm planning on taking this very next Riot move up to like 30 and trimming out of it, and then using that to shove into Mara. If I'm right about the order that they travel in now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think I got this one. I also think Riot and Mara are strong, so I think this is just speculation, guys. I was just kind of guessing what it looks like what the wave structure would look like. But remember how I said ES, I think, is going to come up, then down. Well, we're going to know what's relatively weak and what's relatively strong when that happens, because if we go up and our down is a higher low on ES, or I'm sorry, it's a lower low on ES, or just a big, chop range, but it's a higher low on things like Riot, we're going to know that these are relatively strong still, and we can still play it, okay? So we can use that pullback on Riot as information on how to play miners in the future, if we should stick to miners or we should rotate and look for some other things to put our money into. But for right now, I think this trade's okay. I know down days aren't fun, but I do want to get back into Riot, so I did trim out a little bit, 24. We're at 20, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to pop to about 24 where our trim level is. I'm going to wait for that higher low, and once we push above the higher low, once we push above 24 again for that last time, I'm going to add the last part of my trade somewhere around where I trimmed off to begin with. I'm going to ride that up like an extra, I don't know, that third bullet, I'll ride up like an extra 25% up to like 30 something. That's the plan for Riot. Mara, I need to wait for Riot to go. So let's look at AMD. let's talk about AMD real quick. Okay, so I think AMD is going to bounce it too. What I think is going to happen here, this range is a little bit sloppy, so I apologize. It should kind of look like this. This is the bottom of the range. So you should be buying AMD. Not us. I'm not going to be buying AMD, but if you were a bull, you'd be buying AMD here. But what I'm looking for is just like in Riot, I'm looking for a big pop out of this range. So this would be the bottom of the range. I want to pop right out of the top of the range. And then I want to see a higher low on the range. Okay. That's when I want to reload. So I want to save powder, not for this move, but I want to save powder for the higher low right here. So basically when ES pops like this and comes all the way down here, if all of our stuff is holding a higher low, like AMD and Riot, then I'll know we are on the right track for the next trend leg, okay? That's kind of the strategy that I'm going to employ. I'm not going to look at MSTR. I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, it looks like it's going to go with Bitcoin, guys. Coin is... it's above my entry. God, this is hilarious. Look at this consolidation, guys. This is absolutely beastly. This is why I think that our crypto plays are a little bit better than our this is why our crypto plays are a little bit better, because I think that almost all these crypto plays, when ES pops, they'll pop and they're going to all set a higher low, you know. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right now and why I'm kind of crypto adjacent. Let's look at the crypto ES ratio and see how we're doing. Yeah, I think we're okay on this too, guys. I think we're bottoming, so we should go sooner than later. What does that mean? God only knows timing wise. It's funny, everybody elected Trump to pump the markets and be good at business. Instead, he just stole a bunch of money and the markets have traded sideways for a solid year. Impressive. But he made a lot of money, so that's good. You know, got to look at the silver linings, guys. I think we're in relief bounces. Upstart, how's Upstart doing? Always red. Always very skeptical of red candles before earnings. They always seem a little bit bullshit, but I don't see anything to be alarmist about here. It just looks like we're just making a range. I don't know what the bottom of this range or the top's going to be, guys. I just know it's a big range. Meta, we are back towards the buy-in. This is a super annoying one. I'm not going to cut this because I know it's going to go up, but I wish it's kind of tough, guys, because I can say I really wish I didn't hold some of these for as long as I did, you know, 6-7 months of sideways trading, but I don't know where else I would have put my money because everything else has been trading sideways for 7 months too. So you're either allocated or you're not. Some of our plays worked out, some have traded sideways like Meta and Coin, and it is what it is, I suppose. It is what it is. SpaceX, is this the green candle to finally get me out of this? Probably not. But what I am going to do is, like I said before, I'm going to trim this bad boy right at around the entry, and then I'm going to play the higher low. So just like on ES, I expect a big pop. I think that these wicks are going to be taken out, and we're gonna sell above that wicks just around break even, guys. Well, maybe it'll go a little higher if we're lucky, but yeah, we're gonna get out of this thing around break even. And you know what? Just like a dog, I'm going to go right back into it when I see the higher low because I'm not going to get emotional about this stock. I know that eventually it'll go up. I just need to find the right bottoming pattern for it. Oh, is there some good news? All right, Netflix. Good for you, man. Dipped below the 200 week. It's back above the 200 week. That is a false breakdown. We should see continuation. We're going to sell this thing around 100, then look for the higher low. Higher low probably comes in right around here based on this range that I found, this old flag. So we're going to sell around 100, maybe 50% of the position. Reload around 85, ride it back up again. No luck on NVAX. I really had high hopes to get long in this one, but it doesn't seem to want to end this. You know, I guess it's the same story as everything else. It just wants to trade sideways. Who's to know how long that takes? This one sucks. I still haven't got out of Palantir, and I still can't close it yet, guys. I can't close Palantir because we haven't lost the swing low. I just have to acknowledge that I'm long from 130s, and we're below the buy-in, so that sucks. It is what it is on that one. Wolf is almost to the entry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to hit this alert that I have set, and once the alert triggers, I'm not going to long. I'm just giving you a heads up for what I'm going to say. I'm going to wait for the bounce. Then I'm going to wait for the retracement and then the bounce. So I'm going to wait for a little W bottom, and then it'll look like a high time frame, maybe a weekly hammer. I'll get long on Wolf, and that'll be the third miner. So if you are already really long on miners and having like a conniption with how volatile they are, consider not following me into this one. Personally, I am immune to the volatility because I don't have any leverage and I'm okay with it. NVIDIA is fine. NUE, I changed my assessment of NUE, but I still believe that it's going to come down. So I don't want to long NUE yet. I think it's going to retrace here. It'll probably get another push higher with ES. Now, if you guys want to play this scalp stuff, this is a strong stock to play it with, just like some of the others like AMD and stuff. I know you can see these 10% down days and be like, they're not strong, but they are. They're just at the bottom of the range, okay? So if you can get a retracement out of here, you can play this push out of here, but ultimately I'm saving powder because what I want is to reload on AMD and I want to reload on NUE and stocks like it. So I'm just going to hold powder so I can reload. But if you want to scalp higher, don't red rocket into these things and hold them and think you nailed the low, because it's very, very, very likely to retrace. Okay. So be careful with that. We're going to let this range develop. I wasn't sure what this range will look like, but you know what? To me, it looks like it's probably going to be something like this. We'll get either like, I don't think it's not a U-TAD because it's not a distribution, but it'll hit some sort of high, it'll hit some sort of spring, a high or low, then we'll look for the reclaim, then we'll push NUE, and we'll push NUE up to like 500-600 from this 230 low. So we'll have another nice bagger out of this, but let it cook for a little while. This might take all the way until next year. Okay, so be patient with that. Let's see. I know I added new stuff to my watch list, and I don't see it on here. I wonder if I coded it something different. Let's do some other stuff. I think gold's going to relief bounce soon, but ultimately the goal is to let gold do what gold does and then get into this thing next year. So we are not looking forward to gold yet. I think CL is going to choppily run it up to 140s and then capitulate. This is the reason I'm very, very skeptical of getting into Oxy too early, because I think Oxy is relatively weak. That's why I want to short it. But even if it's relatively weak, you don't want to short stocks that are sympathetic with CL. So what I'm thinking is, if you want to long Oxy, you could long Oxy up to the 60s right now. But it's at 55, right? So there's not a lot of meat on the bone. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this thing to sympathy bounce with CL, and then when CL hits its target, if Oxy's around 62, we're going to short this thing, and this should pay a ton, because Oxy's one of those low beta stocks that if you catch it right before a move, the calls and the puts just go up tremendously if you can time it just right, and that's what we're going to try to do. Okay, I think I've talked long enough. We have a pretty good idea of what's going on and how to play it. I don't think you have any reason to be nervous. I think things are at the bottom of the range. I think they should bounce as soon as ES reclaims to the top of the range. Then we are going to look for a big sweep out on the high time frame of ES, and we're going to analyze all the stocks that hold a higher low during that sweep out. And relatively weak things like Oxy, we are just going to go and play straight down to their back tests. You know, for this one, we're going to play it from like 60 to 40. That doesn't seem like much. That'll be a colossal play if you're in puts. All right, guys, that's it for now. Take care.